Name is Persephone Diaz, and today the trend I am covering is the Edwardian era trend for women in England from 1901 to 1914. Now, for this time period in culture, this began at the beginning of the 20th century to the beginning year of World War I in England, and the era began with the end of the Victorian era, which signified the death of Queen Victoria and the ascension of her son Edward VII to the throne of England. And Great Britain, And the key style elements for this trend were high bone collars, usage of chiffon and tulle in shades of sweet pea, which were popular during this time, high waists, elaborate embroidery, ornamental parasols, large and elaborately trimmed hats, long kid gloves, hobble skirts, looser fit dresses to allow for flexibility, and this being the last decade in England that utilized corsets for everyday wear. As for the social, political, and cultural influences, the shift in the monarchy from Queen Victoria to King Edward VII saw a shift based on Edward's extravagant lifestyle and material and social indulgences that also saw the upper echelon society of England following suit, establishing what would be in vogue for this decade. As well as the growing feminist movement, this struggle for early 20th century feminists was reflected in shifting acceptable fashions as seen in looser dresses, lower necklines, and dramatic accessories. And as for the impact on the fashion industry at this time in the 20th century, we saw the introduction of hobble skirts, the lowering necklines, which caused scandal and outrage, and as well as an externalization of shifting feminist ideologies reflected in the fashion that was in vogue. And we see in Hollywood in 1997 in the film Titanic, directed by James Cameron, the Edwardian trend is reflected in his female protagonist, Rose DeWitt Bukater, also known as Rose Dawson, in her extensive wardrobe as featured as the protagonist. We see this externalization, this representation of what was in vogue at the time of 1912, which is when the movie takes place. So we see it here in Rose's wardrobe, how this is a reflection of not only her noble upbringing and her intended engagement and marriage to her fiance, but we just see as in this movie, this is a famous representation of the Edwardian trend in fashion as represented by Hollywood. And as for features in modern fashion, the Edwardian trend was actually featured 6 years ago in an article about the quote-unquote new Edwardian featured in Vogue. And a quote taken here from the author states, "Fashion's latest gilded age comes replete with high collars, puff sleeves, delicate lawn dresses, and an attitude that's very much of the moment, reflecting how this moment in Vogue was a hearken to the the Edwardian age of then and the Edwardian fashions of today, seen as what is in vogue."